Every year, the New Humanitarian publishes its much-shared list of 10 crises that demand your attention now. This list highlights the places in the world where needs are rising, aid budgets are cut or insufficient, and where people feel forgotten by the international community. Over the past year, our series of first-person stories feature aid workers and people affected by conflict and natural disasters in one of the places on the 10 crises list. Since Haiti's independence in 1804, it has faced huge challenges. There's the multi-million-dollar debt it was forced to pay to its French colonizers, the subsequent American occupation, not to mention earthquakes, climate disasters, political instability, corruption, and foreign interference. But this year, things took a new turn for the worse. Nearly 4,000 people have been killed or injured since gang violence surged to a whole new level in February, when gangs joined forces to overthrow acting Prime Minister Ariel Henry. Since then, a transitional presidential council was put in place and a Kenyan-led multinational security force has started deploying. When the gangs moved into her neighbourhood in April, Haitian journalist and former UN official Monique Clesca left the Caribbean nation. She returned home a few months later, and in this episode, she describes what daily life is now like.
I am a Monique Clesca, Haitian national. I am a pro-democracy activist, a feminist. I worked for the UN for practically 25 years, first for UNICEF, and then I worked for the United Nations Population Fund. My humanitarian experience really kind of teaches me that we really need to pay more attention to the demographics, to the economics, to the social justice needs of our population, health, education, job training, etc., so that we can get them out of the dire straits so that they are more able to resist. I don't much like the word resilience, and I really much prefer the word resist and move forward with their lives. The title of my upcoming book, which is a memoir, is called Silence and Resistance, Memoir of a Girlhood in Haiti. The way it was in the late 50s and early 60s is that children didn't speak. You were expected to be silent in the presence of grown-ups. But there was also resistance by me as I could, being a child. So it was very difficult. But it was also a carefree kind of childhood, even though every once in a while our friends disappeared, either because their parents were killed or because they left the country. It was a very special kind of period under the dictatorship of a Duvalier. I live in Haiti. Daily life is extremely difficult for everyone because for some people, the gangs have taken over their neighborhoods. Others live in areas controlled by gangs. So food prices have gone significantly up. There are some products that one cannot find because the gangs have taken over the major highways. We are in more than a crisis situation. We are more in a wartime situation without war being declared officially. I think it's important that people know that Haiti is an absolutely beautiful country. We are a vibrant people who are very proud and who want to jump into the kind of middle income, whereas we are being pulled back a lot by the massive corruption and ineptness of the political class. So we really are hoping that young people, a lot of women, can be in the next political space so that, I see Haiti going into the future being very vibrant and a cultural force in the world. But the gangs are at war with us, the population. So it is catastrophic. And the level of people who have died, people who have suffered from all sorts of violence, including sexual violence, is totally dire. And I think it's important to pay attention to that. Women have been victimized in the sense that whatever massacre, and there have been numerous massacres, women bear the brunt of a lot of it. Women are raped, and very often in front of their children, in front of their husbands or companions. And so it is a kind of double rape. Not only are you physically raped, but you are psychologically, emotionally raped, because it is a public collective rape by the gangs in a systematic manner. There is also the fact that a lot of young girls and even older women who live in gang-controlled areas are practically sexual slaves. You are at the mercy of the gang leaders, the gang members, because you happen to live in that area. And it is not a question of I want, I don't want. You are there and you are picked for sexual favors. You are picked there to be on the lookout in terms of kidnapping, to transport arms and munitions. So women also bear the brunt of this war that the gangs have been waging against the civilian population. And we also suffer the brunt of the economic downturn because we cannot sell our goods. We cannot sell our wares. We are not free to go where we can go to be able to sell. So it has impoverished hundreds, thousands of women, and it has sapped a lot of our freedom because we are suffering in our bodies, in our minds, in our emotions, in our pocketbooks, in every way that is possible. Haiti is a forgotten crisis in many ways because of our history, because we are Black, because we may be very rich culturally, but economically we are poor. And a lot of our poverty is linked with the fact that the French had us pay a ransom for the independence, and the Americans also came. We are free, but we are not really free because we are not able to have a sustainable economy, to have a sustainable agriculture, to have all of that. And you have so few who are extremely rich compared to so many who are dirt poor. But Haiti really, since its independence, I always say that we worked on the liberty part in terms of we are free, we are not slaves, but we did not work on the equality part and the fraternity part. So we are a very unequal society. And one really needs to look at that and reflect on that and try to find, or at least lay the seeds for solutions to that governance crisis, a social crisis, an economic crisis, a human rights crisis, which is really an overwhelming crisis that we've been going through now for the last 8 years. And I think the world didn't know what to do, and in particular did not listen to us. I'm part of a pro-democracy group called the Montana Movement, which has been really pushing for a solution defined by Haitians to the current governance crisis that Haiti has been going on. And they haven't listened. So it was decided by the UN, with the United States in the lead, that Kenyan troops, as well as some other troops from Bahamas, maybe Jamaica, could come. And so finally, after about a year and a half of they're coming, are they coming, will they come, how will they come, are they learning the language, what's happening, etc. Finally, 200 arrived. And then a few weeks later, 200 more arrived. But the problem is that the money, I believe, that Haiti anticipated from the international community has not yet materialized. That is one aspect. And secondly, there were serious issues in terms of our own security forces and their willingness to actually fight the gangs, because government was working with the gangs. The economic elites were also working with the gangs. So you really had a kind of gangs working with the powers that be. And I, for one, with the Montana movement, we had always said that the Kenyan troops were not necessary. And we are being proven right, because we should have seen at least a little bit of difference since they have arrived. They are being fed. The Haitian police are not being fed by any organization. So there is room there for certainly competition, some amount of jealousy. I know I had spoken certainly very frankly about the fact that what we needed was to reinforce the Haitian police, give them training, do the vetting so that the ones who've been working with the gangs can be shut out of the police, and then get things back in order, and then really institute a kind of massive social justice agenda in terms of training, in terms of healthcare, in terms of education for the youth, because the population of Haiti, it's about 65%, so 2/3 is under 24. What we really need is massive social justice investments. So the Kenyan troops, to me, thank you very much, but Kenya Airways can come and get them so that they can go back home.
Monique Clesca is a retired Haitian humanitarian and pro-democracy activist. Visit thenewhumanitarian.org to read the full list of 10 crises that you should pay attention to this year. The New Humanitarian is the only newsroom that specialises in covering humanitarian crises. Subscribe to our feed to stay in the loop on new episodes from different parts of the world. This episode was produced and edited by Freddie Boswell, with original music by Whitney Patterson. Thanks for listening.
Hello, listeners. We would love to hear from you. We're always looking to improve our podcasts, our coverage, and our work, and that's why we're inviting you to take a quick audience survey. Your feedback is incredibly valuable to us and will help us shape the future of our show and our journalism. It only takes a few minutes, so if you head over to thenewhumanitarian.org/survey, you can let us know your thoughts. Thank you so much for listening and for helping us to make the New Humanitarian better.